make it grow even bigger. Today, I'm going to prove to you age means absolutely nothing. Meaning this. Could you imagine being in your 90s and still having a game-changing business? Our first guest is going to join us in the studio. That's exactly what she has done. Her and her daughter, they have on the planet. Get this. Created a TV show called Scorpion. It's all about him. Walter O'Brien's going to join us, an amazing individual. I've known Walter for about 10 years and truly a unique story on how he's become who he is. We'll also find out what it takes to hack your mind, your body, and your office through Dave Asprey, and how to stay on top with Gregory Markell. That is just today's show. If you miss any part of our shows, make sure you go to our website, businessrockstars.com, sign up for our newsletter, but also you get all the podcasts. Oh, by the way, don't want to forget about this. Next week, we are launching our first webinar series. We're going to be doing it with Nolan Bushnell. Remember, Steve Jobs called him, being Nolan, his mentor. We'll find out what it takes to start a business properly, how to hire the right team, how to create the right culture, and how to fake it till you make it. Nolan's going to go through all of that in our live webinar. You got to go to our website, or if you get our newsletter, it's all there so you can sign up. Space is extremely limited, and we were able to get the price down because of the relationship we have with LegalZoom, because they're sponsoring it, to get it to you free. It's not going to cost you anything other than your time, and I guess an open mind to hear this great conversation with Nolan. So go to businessrockstars.com. I want to thank the team over at LegalZoom for making this happen. And by the way, we love what LegalZoom just did. They got you an amazing deal. You go to LegalZoom.com and use Rockstars as your secret code. And LegalZoom, of course, they're not a law firm, but they provide unbelievable resources to help you entrepreneurs out. You use that secret code Rockstars and you get some pretty, I would say nifty, I like that word, nifty discounts. There you go, businessrockstars.com, and of course, LegalZoom.com, and use Rockstars. So check this out. I am a huge believer in understanding what the potential of your idea is. Not what your idea is going to become, but the potential. I have an interesting story. It's going to make me look like a horrible person, but it's not, okay? I remember when my daughter was born, Gia. Yeah, she kind of looked like maybe a chicken or an old man when she was born. She just wasn't a really cute kid. And when people would walk up to me, they would go, "Look how beautiful your daughter is." And I would say, "No, she's not. But she's got great potential." And now she's gorgeous. And, I want honesty to be about everything. And I was honest about my daughter. Thank God the potential was there, and she turned out to be a beautiful kid. Your business might look like an ugly chicken when it starts out, but does it have the right potential? The key is all around putting potential on it. Understanding there's no limits. And Mark Cuban, of course, the founder of broadcast.com and the Mavericks, talks about the whole idea of making sure you grow your business without any limits.
For somebody aspiring to, take things to the next level or to even surpass their wildest dreams, there's always going to have to be an element of luck. But I think more important is putting yourself in a business that can be ubiquitous, that really doesn't have limits, because otherwise there's always going to be a grind to it. But if the business, if it can't be something that you can visualize every business using or every consumer using, it's going to be tough to scale to be big enough or to have the perceived value.
This is the key, is the perceived value later on moving forward. So when you have something and you go, "I know this could be big," you're going to say to yourself, it's got the potential to be big. Because, of course, there's a lot of market factors out there. There's competitive issues. Is there a buyer out there? Let me help you understand what it takes to at least know where the potential can go with your idea. Because remember, I always like to take your idea, and I want to always make sure it goes into a project. So here's the deal. First, I want you to realize that to know if there's potential for your idea is I want you to go off and really do some serious research. I love the internet. And the internet, as long as you stay hyper-focused, you can find anything on there. One of my favorite tools is something that most people don't know about. You know what Google is, right? It's called a search engine. How about a fact, F-A-C-T engine, a fact engine? And the best fact engine is called Wolfram Alpha. wolframalpha.com. You can find anything on this. Again, it's around the facts. It's not a whole bunch of websites that pop up that show you different things. Everything inside Wolfram Alpha is inside Wolfram Alpha. I'm going to go to it right now. I just want to give you an idea. So when I'm in Wolfram, and I try to use Wolfram Alpha 7 times a day, if you go up to the top, it's going to give you different examples of things you can search: mathematics, words, linguistics, people and history, dates, chemistry, culture, money and finance. It's insanely extensive on what you can do. Use Wolfram Alpha as your tool to search the facts that are out there. Remember, this is a fact engine, not a search engine. Wolfram Alpha. I'm shocked at how many people don't even know about this. To me, it's one of the best resources on the entire internet. It's one of the best sites, Wolfram Alpha. Try that out. So the first thing you got to do is you got to make sure you go off and search the facts regarding your idea. Has it been done? Is the market ready? Is there enough people to buy it? Will retailers understand how to sell it? If it's a service, can you make it so there's a speed to cool? In 8 seconds, you could describe what it is. I mean, these are all the challenges you have to validate there's actually some type of potential for your idea. Next, what I want you to do is ask yourself certain questions, and that is, does this product really have a market? Let me give you an example. And when Frida joins us a little later on, we're going to ask, did the kiwi actually have a market? Because remember, when the kiwi was brought to the United States, was there an actual market? And how much evangelizing did you have to go through to get people to understand it? It's important to understand that. Can you show a distinctive difference between what your product or your service is compared to something else that's out there? These are really important questions to understand if you have a potential to understand a market for you. Then what I like to do is simple. I like to show people what it is. I will walk into a mall or an area where there's a lot of people and go, hey, what do you think about this? I want random people that will be totally truthful with me, that will tell me if this is going to make it. Is it too expensive based upon the dollar amounts we're placing on it? If they could only buy it online, would they buy it? Would they understand it if somebody explained it to them? You got to collect the right feedback. Through this whole process, you'll understand if there is a potential market for your idea. And then what I like to do is, if you can make a prototype and do a Kickstarter, because to me, a Kickstarter validates people want it. Let's use a great example, and that's our buddy Elon Lee, who did Exploding Kittens, the card game. He proved it to where he only wanted $10,000. He sold almost $9 million for one card game to show that there was an audience out there. Use Wolfram Alpha, use that as your fact engine, and watch how things change. It's pretty cool. All right, when we come back, age means nothing to this entrepreneur. Literally has transformed the way we buy and eat produce in the United States. That's a pretty powerful statement, right? Yep. And then later on, we're going to have Gregory Markell join us and find out what it takes to stay on top of all the search engines. I'm Ken Rakowski. You listen to Business Rockstars. So are you an astronaut or an astronomer? I'm Ken Rakowski. This is a Business Rockstars Minute. When I was a kid, I studied astronomy. I knew everything about the stars and planets. I thought it was going to be the most exciting job on the planet. And then I looked into it. Kind of boring. You sit behind a desk or a computer, or you look through a telescope. I wanted to be there. What I was looking at, I wanted to be the astronaut. See, the astronaut takes the risks, but they get to experience what's happening there. They're on the scene. See, that's what an entrepreneur is. They're an astronomer. They're out there taking the risk. They're going the distance, and at times they fail. So when you look at what you're doing, do you want to watch things from the safe side, being the wantrepreneur, or do you want to be the entrepreneur, jumping in? There's about 30 million wantrepreneurs on the planet, and it's time for them to jump in and become an astronaut. I'm Ken Rakowski. This has been a Business Rockstars Minute.
Geico presents Strange Savings Stories. Sam Tucker woke to find crop circles in his cornfield that spelled out the word Geico. Was this a message sent by aliens? Sam went to geico.com and saved hundreds of dollars with great discounts. He woke the next day. Crop patterns had formed. They spelled out, "You the man." It seems the aliens were pleased indeed.
Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance.
I like my breakfast like I like my rock. Soft. So I eat Belvita Soft Baked Breakfast Biscuits, a tasty breakfast option for nutritious morning energy. It's just what I want before writing a flute solo that will softly rock every dentist's office around. Try Belvita Soft Baked in oats and chocolate, cinnamon, mixed berry, and banana bread. Belvita, morning win.
This year, state tax revenue losses resulting from interstate tobacco smuggling could reach over $5 billion. Rich Marianos, a retired ATF agent who now speaks out about the issue at thenewtobaccoroad.com, is encouraging legislators to address the issue.
Cigarette smuggling is no longer a mom-and-pop operation. Instead, it's growing into a sophisticated criminal industry with direct ties to gang activity, organized crime, and even terrorism. Smuggled cigarettes are the new currency of organized crime, with profits often greater than those from activities. If you're driving on the interstate highways and you pass a tractor-trailer truck or even a box truck, there's a real chance that its cargo is contraband cigarettes.
What's the solution?
The first step to addressing the problem is to make tobacco trafficking more painful than a parking ticket. The states of Virginia and Rhode Island have already passed laws to make cigarette smuggling a felony. Other states are also looking at new laws and penalties.
For more information, visit thenewtobaccoroad.com. I'm Bob Tebow for the Consumer Radio Network.
I'm feeling good. I'm feeling pleasure.
Hey, if you've got joint discomfort or nagging injuries that make it harder to exercise and enjoy your favorite activities, you can improve your quality of life now. Here's a little joint health tip from FlexSure. While you're out shopping, head over to Walmart, go to the vitamin aisle, and pick up a bottle of FlexSure at special rollback discounted prices while supplies last. We want to encourage thousands to try this powerful joint health supplement. After years of cutting-edge clinical studies, there's finally something different and better than anything else out there. FlexSure is that good. You'll notice the results in just days. The clinical studies show that FlexSure reactivates the body's ability to produce its own glucosamine naturally. This means FlexSure is way more efficient and effective than taking glucosamine or other joint supplements. Take advantage of the lowest prices ever at Walmart. Visit us at flexsure.com to learn more and find a store near you.
This is Business Rockstars. Starting a business, finding the money, what you need to know to become a rockstar entrepreneur.
So each segment of the show, we always start with a quote. This one's coming from Tony Hsieh. Tony Hsieh, of course, the founder of Zappos, selling the company for over $1 billion to Amazon.com. What do they sell? They sell shoes. And Tony says something very, very simple, that it's, don't worry about the money. Focus on whatever your passion is, the money will follow. Simple as that. Ken Rakowski's Business Rockstars, from starting to growing to funding your passion to something that's real and sustainable. We're here to help you do that by bringing you rock stars from around the world that have done it, and they have never feared to do it. They're moving forward, and we're here to learn from them. Anytime you want, check us out online by going to businessrockstars.com while you're listening to us on radio. So let me tell you a story. I'm flying on a plane, sitting next to this person. This is going back probably about 10 years ago, about a decade. And I met Jackie. Jackie Kaplan-Wiggins is joining me. And Jackie, you told me something that kind of blew my mind because I believe you had a little backpack and you had some stuff in there. And you go, you know what this is? And I knew what it was. But you are part of this dynasty of produce lovers. Am I right?
Yes, you are. My mom, Frida, who's here, started our company 53 years ago. In fact, we just celebrated our anniversary April 2nd.
So could you do me a favor? Let's just say we're in front of a few million people, which you are, okay?
Yes.
And you had to introduce your mother to this audience, and she would come out on stage. Can you introduce your mother for us, please?
I'd like you to meet Frida Kaplan, who started our company, Frida's Incorporated.
Frida Rappaport Kaplan.
I saw that
My
finger.
mom always takes care of me here. Frida Rappaport Kaplan.
Doctor, by the way.
Dr. Frida Grandma Dr. Frida Rappaport Kaplan. And she is probably best known for introducing and helping to name the kiwi fruit to the United States in the 1960s.
Blew my mind when I saw that. So, what do we call you? Frida, Dr. Rappaport. What do you want to be known as right now?
Dr. Frida.
Dr. Frida. It's an honor to have both of you here. Thanks a lot for joining us. I'm going to go right away and ask a very simple question. This business that you started, when did you start it?
In 1962 is when it officially started.
1962.
Yes.
It's a long time ago.
It doesn't seem like, seems like the other day.
It seems like the other day. And throughout the process, you've been awarded Top Woman Entrepreneur of the Year, right? You recognize as that. That's very impressive.
Thank you.
You have brought not just the kiwi, but also I would say part of my day-to-day diet, but most people would find them very unique types of produce.
Over 200 new items.
To the United States.
To the United States.
Well, actually, I would say to North America because I've seen
introduced
Canada,
to the supermarkets in the United States.
And you started this business. How old were you when you started this business?
1962. How old was I, Jackie?
39. She was 39 years old. So she's 91. She'll be 92
You're 91
this year.
years old?
Yep.
Wow.
And she comes to work every single day.
Probably before you do, right?
And I beat her in.
That's great.
She better be there earlier.
She better be there. And what's your function at the business today? Are you running things?
Not at all. I am sort of Peter with my thumb in the wall to make everything, particularly financial, is in place. And I am around as sort of a spirit.
Well, no, I wouldn't say a spirit. From what I see, I think you're a very loud and boisterous thought leader of where things are going. Jackie, I saw her lift her finger saying, "No, I am," and I saw a very, very, don't take this wrong, please, a very controlling person, meaning she's got her way and you have to stay focused on that.
Actually, that's not it at all.
Awesome.
So she's very passionate about what she does. So I think what you saw was her being passionate. But she is, I think, an inspirational leader in that she is very interested in people. She talks, it doesn't matter how old you are. She can relate to 5-year-olds. She can relate to 30-year-olds. I have friends who just adore her because she's truly interested. And I think that's what has helped her in our business, is that she has an open mind and she's always learning.
And you're always trying to discover to this day?
Absolutely. The thing that has built our business is what I call the open door.
The open door. What is that?
That is considering everything that's being offered, even though nobody else has been able to come up with an opportunity to use it. That's how we've built our business.
Certain produce that maybe other people couldn't figure a way to evangelize or to describe properly, you have found a way to have that door open.
That's what our job is introducing unusual, healthy fruits and vegetables to the nation's supermarkets by showing them and showing the buyers how it attracts customers.
So, Jack, do you work for...
Actually, she works for my sister and I. So my sister and I own the company and have since 1990. Wow. And so we divided our responsibilities. My sister is the CEO and oversees sales and marketing, and I'm the chief operating officer, and I'm all about the operations, the buying, everything tactical falls under my area.
Pretty happy with how the business is going now?
Oh,
Dr.
absolutely.
Frida?
As a matter of fact, I chose to make Karen the president about in 1880.
No.
1980.
1980. Karen is my sister and business partner. We're not that old.
I did it basically, Ken, because I'm a marketer and I did not feel competent. I couldn't stand firing people that needed to be fired. And knowing the kind of mind Karen had and the things that she learned at UC Davis, I chose to make her president in 1986.
You guys, but you work together.
Fly.
You guys both work together quite well.
Right.
I'm going to ask you a question. Do you know what your website is? What's the website?
www.fridas.com.
Do you go and use the web at all? Do you use the internet?
Do I?
Yeah,
Yes.
you use the internet. Do you think it's one of the more powerful tools to help market and tell people about what you're doing?
No question about it.
Yeah.
It's been great for us, and we are probably leaders in the use of that.
Yeah, for educational purposes. That's what I love about your site. It's like going to school to find out about all these great products that you brought to the United States.
In the very, very beginning, what I had to do for retailers was actually type little cards up so they could put it up in their supermarkets. That's how we were doing when I started early in 1962. There was no resource, and we started to develop. Matter of fact, Frida's developed the first packaged item in the produce industry.
What was that?
In 1972, and that was the sunchoke, which we renamed.
Which is also called the Jerusalem artichoke, but it's neither from Jerusalem nor from the artichoke family. It's actually the root of a kind of sunflower plant.
And you brought that and you packaged that.
We packaged it because consumers couldn't tell the difference between sunchokes and ginger. So that's what led us to put it up the package. And since the printer said, well, you got space on the back, do you want to write anything? So that's when we decided to say, dear customer, if you want more information, contact us. And we were flooded with that's what we knew.
Right there.
Right there.
Dr. Frieda and Jackie, when we come back, can we talk about what we have in front of us?
Absolutely.
Okay, again, the website is?
www.fridas.com, and that's FRIEDAS.
When we come back, we'll find out about the produce here, but also how to sales and market. Whatever worked back then still works today, and how do you actually stay focused? We'll find out. I'm Ken Rakowski, and you're listening to Business Rockstars. So why should your attorney be more like a Hollywood agent? I'm Ken Rakowski. This is a Business Rockstars Minute. Have you ever seen the TV show Entourage on HBO? So Ari is this big Hollywood agent who's always gunning out for his customers, well, the people he represents. He's making sure they got the right movie role. They're in the right place at the right time. He's being a great agent, and that's exactly what your attorney needs to be. It's just not about the corporate documents and the paperwork and representing you in the courtroom. It's about them representing you for new customers and clients. See, a great attorney has a great Rolodex, and you need access to that Rolodex. Because as your business builds, the more they make from you. So if they can get out there and act more like a Hollywood agent, introducing you to the right people in the right places, your business will grow, so their business will grow. So look for the right attorney that acts like a Hollywood agent. I'm Ken Rakowski. This has been a Business Rockstars Minute.
Attention! Renew is currently seeking participants who are dealing with stress and unhappiness. If you are experiencing one or more of the following symptoms, you are eligible to participate in the trial and receive a free 2-week supply of the mood-boosting supplement, Renew. To be eligible, your symptoms may include fatigue, hopelessness, tension, negative mood, anxiety, or lack of sleep. Renew is an all-natural, doctor-recommended supplement that will help boost your mood and give you more energy right away. Renew has been featured on Oprah and The View and has already helped over 1 million people feel better naturally. Now you are eligible to participate in the free trial if you or someone you know are experiencing symptoms of stress and unhappiness. Call now to participate in the trial and receive a free 2-week supply of Renew.
To participate in the Renew trial and get a free supply, call 1-800-514-1000. 1-800-514-1000. Call 1-800-514-1000. 1-800-514-1000.
Allstate's 10th Annual America's Best Drivers Report ranks the largest 200 cities in the country based on car quality. Fort Collins, Colorado is named America's safest driving city, with Brownsville, Texas coming in second. Allstate's Mike Roach explains how, this year, the report is more comprehensive than ever.
On the Allstate website, we now have a new tool that's interactive and allows consumers to look at their city's rankings for 2014 and to look back historically for their rankings during the 10-year history that we've run this report.
For the first time, the report factors in how things like population density, and precipitation can affect each city's ranking. Allstate offers tips on dealing with these challenging roadway conditions.
When driving in precipitation, it's always key to know and understand the road conditions, where you're heading, and also keeping your vehicle properly maintained, because you never know when bad weather is going to strike.
To see the 2014 rankings and interactive map, Visit allstate.com/bestdriversreport.
Millions of conversations will happen today, but few of us have had a conversation about the care we want when we're seriously ill or nearing the end of life. Sharing your wishes with friends, family, and care providers now and as life changes may improve quality of life at the end of life, both for you and those you love. This conversation may be difficult, but wouldn't you rather have it now, before a crisis? It's time to have the conversation. Visit iom.edu/theconversation. A message from the Institute of Medicine.
Many know Lou Brissy was starting pitcher for the Philadelphia Athletics in the late 1940s, but few know he almost lost his legs in the Army.
I could not see one foot. I could see the blood, but I could not see the left foot. The right foot I saw, and I could see the hole in the boot. And then I was pretty well out of it for a considerable time.
At the American Veterans Center, we preserve and protect our veterans' legacy, but it's up to you to keep it alive. Find more on Brissy at AmericanVeteransCenter.org.
This is Business Rockstars, where we teach you what you need to know to become a rock star entrepreneur.
The only thing certain for us is change. To battle change, the waste of time, to trust change, assures ourselves and our business of life. Ken Rakowski, this is Business Rockstars. From starting to growing to funding your business, we're here to help you do that by bringing you rock stars from around the world. A little later on the show, he has an IQ higher than Einstein. He's going to join us in the studio. You may have seen his TV show called Scorpion, which has just been renewed for a second season on CBS. We'll find out what it took for Scorpion to become who he is today. Again, businessrockstars.com. See what's happening in the studio while you're listening to us on radio. Dr. Frida Rappaport Kaplan, got it all in there.
Got it all.
How would you introduce your daughter? So you're you.
Well, Jackie Kaplan Wiggins.
But how would you introduce her? What would you say if she's getting an award? How would you say, this is Jackie?
This is Jackie, one of the most caring, organized people I've ever known in my life, and is a tremendous asset to what has happened to Frida's and making us the #1 specialty company in the United States.
That's a big deal. There, great congratulations on that.
Pressure.
No, I don't think it's pressure. So I hope people could at least get a sense of what we're going to try to do real quick, because this gives you everyone an idea of what you've done. These products that we have in front of us, this produce, this is was this brought to the United States by you guys?
It was developed and marketed by us. We're not farmers. We're marketers.
Marketers, right?
And so. When we first started, there was nobody in the United States, or probably any place in the world, that marketed unusual fruits and vegetables. So it forced us into it. And when small farmers had things, or countries had things, they had no place else to go but to Frida's.
So let me at least hit the one I think most people would know, because they see it often, okay? And I'm going to say it's a star fruit. I could go into a Dominic's in Chicago, a Safeway in San Francisco, a Publix in Naples, Florida, and I will see a star fruit.
Probably.
So they've become pretty noticeable. I don't think anyone's really had a star fruit. They don't eat them. But how did you market a star fruit?
Well, we started out of Florida initially. And then because we had the reputation of handling it and marketing it at all of those retailers that you mentioned, when the Thailand was developing this, a much better, which is what you have in your hand.
Taiwan.
Taiwan. She does the traveling.
It's all good.
Sit at home. And matter of fact, she was there how long ago?
About a year ago.
About a year ago, to visit the people that developed that.
The star fruit.
And so that is actually the larger jumbo star fruit that comes from Taiwan.
Right.
So we also do, as she said, get it from Florida. And so there are different varieties available at different times of the year.
But you founded this outside the United States. You found a way to market it in the United States. Adoption-wise, has this been adopted as much as you hoped it would, or do you think it still has a lot more potential?
I think, if you look at any of the specialty produce items, because people like yourself who travel more, they see that's actually how the kiwi fruit came to the United States. It was a person on a Mormon mission who had been to New Zealand and tried what was then called the Chinese gooseberry.
That's what they called it.
It was Chinese gooseberry, and they came back to the United States and asked their produce manager, "Can you get me some Chinese gooseberry?" And as luck would have it, no one had heard of it, but about 6 months later, a broker came in the market, said, "I have Chinese gooseberries. Does anyone want it?" Frida took all of them. And then because of the marketability of the name Chinese gooseberry,
bad name,
they just decided to come up with something more clever, the kiwi fruit after the kiwi bird.
It makes sense.
So I think things like star fruit, you also have dragon fruit there.
This is, by the way, people that are listening, if you've never had a dragon fruit, and which I don't think a lot of people have, because I think shipping these is a bit difficult in some cases, right?
Actually, we've it's grown in California. That is actually coming from Vietnam.
This one, that's why
and
it's a large one too.
Right, and it's shipped from by boat. You're seeing more and more dragon fruit because it has been released by the USDA for admittance from many other countries. So you're seeing more and more of these specialty produce items.
Love dragon fruit. Love dragon. The one I hope to see more often is the Fioli. Was it? It's right.
The Feijoa.
Feijoa.
Or known as guavas.
Right.
It's similar to a pineapple guava.
Such a wonderful. Smells good. It's great.
Very fragrant.
Do you eat all these, by the way, Dr. Frida?
Everything but kiwi fruit that I'm allergic to.
You're allergic? How'd you find that one out? Oh, no.
Well, I think in the beginning, as we were promoting it, I was feeding it to produce buyers to get them interested, and I must have had so much that I developed an allergy to it.
Because you were the first to really eat it like crazy, right? Dr. Frida, what would you say when it comes to marketing? Because you see yourself as marketers.
Yes.
Right? What do you think are some of the golden rules when it comes to marketing that you, from the very beginning till today, that you believe is the essence of marketing?
Well, I think first sampling, but most important is getting an opportunity to deal with retailers who give authority to their produce buyers to put them in the store. And this is why our mantra is what Jackie just talked to you about. A consumer who's looking for something going to her produce manager and saying, "This is what I'm looking for," because this is how we started the whole Frida program and how Kiwi got into all the stores. When you see, if you see a horn melon here and can't find it in your store, go to your produce manager.
That's the first step, is to tell them.
The first step, and that is, if we have one golden rule in marketing produce, is use your produce manager as your conduit.
Do most produce managers, do they have that liberty and that freedom to, because I would think if it's a big chain, they're kind of locked in, aren't they?
It really depends.
It does.
Every chain handles it differently, but a lot of produce managers realize that they have their customers.
Right.
They're repeat customers, and so they will try to figure out a way that they can satisfy that customer.
Okay.
And we see actually more and more of that. And some produce managers, they've done this for 30, 40 years. That's their life's passion.
Wow.
So that part for us is really exciting because they obviously love what they do.
Dr. Frida, what do you think about the idea of sampling? Does this help out a lot?
Very, definitely. Of course, I would be a little hesitant in some of these hot peppers.
Yeah. No, I think it's only 1 out of 7 are hot on these,
well,
right?
There you go.
Right? 1 out of 7.
I don't know what the percentage is, but that's actually, the shishito pepper is actually a milder pepper.
Yeah, I love them. I have them
great.
twice a week at a sushi place. So they're great. Those are great peppers, by the way. And they're not that spicy. 1 out of 7 are, just to let you know. It's kind of a game. It's Russian roulette with peppers. How about the potatoes? I'm looking at purple.
Those are actually Stokes Purple. It's a trademark name. They're from Stokes County in North Carolina. These are actually grown in California, but the seed is from North Carolina. And in fact, I was just in North Carolina at the end of March, and we were meeting with the grower. It's a special variety that holds its color. Most purple produce, whether it's purple asparagus, purple cauliflower, purple green beans, will lose their color when you cook them.
Oh, I didn't know that. So that
it
maintains
turns green. This Stokes Purple sweet potato does not lose its color. It's got an intense flavor. And the great thing is most sweet potatoes, when you cook them, get really mushy when they're right.
These
this
don't?
stay firm.
Can you do mashed potatoes with
And
those?
get sweeter as the longer you cook them, they get sweeter.
So a mashed potato with it like that would be pretty unique, right?
You can do a mash. You can do
I love that.
French fried, you know.
So Dr. Frieda, as you look at where the industry has gone over the last long time, what do you think were the gigantic changes to help your business out? Was the internet one of them? Was it a centralized transportation? Where do you think?
I think all of those, but the move now to fight obesity has been one of the greatest things. And what I'm thrilled about is what's happening with these, what they call millennials now.
Yeah.
These young people, because of the kind of campaigns that our industry has been involved in, are looking at fresh fruits and vegetables better than any group that we have seen. And we've seen kids that are stopping going to the fast food places.
Right, to go out of their way to get healthy stuff like this.
Healthy food, and I think...
Wow, that's a great point.
And the battle against genetically modified foods has really alerted, particularly amongst the young people, to watch what they're eating and to select fresh.
Now, can people buy directly from you?
We don't sell directly to consumers, but what we do encourage them, if they can't find something, to contact us, and we'll also reach out to their produce manager. But as Frieda said earlier, that's the best way to get products, is talk to your produce manager.
So, Dr. Frieda, tell me about your day. What's your day like?
Well, I automatically wake up at 6 a.m.
Just happens.
With or without a clock.
Okay.
Well, you have to remember, in the very beginning, I used to sleep 4 hours a night for about 30 years.
Be careful of that. You can die early if you don't get a lot of sleep.
Well,
she'll die at 110 instead of 115.
I already told the kids I've got enough money to keep me to 102 at least.
Okay, well, we'll push beyond that. So you get up early, and then what do you do?
But I try to go to bed at 10 o'clock at night now. I've changed.
Well, we used to go to bed a lot later?
I used, as I said, for about 30 years, I slept 4 hours a night.
All that partying.
And it showed. I don't know what I ate. But I do a lot of exercising every day. I go to cardiac rehab on a bicycle, and then I go to work. And another day, my physical therapist comes to the office and works with me.
You're at the office all the time?
Work. Yeah. It's
Every day?
Yeah.
Every day?
Every day.
Every day.
I hate to be personal. Are you single?
Now I am.
Now you are?
My late husband is no longer.
So you're on the market again?
No.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, I don't think so.
No. Okay. Hey, I hate just to let you know. That's pretty amazing.
This is what I'm on the market
This is
for.
your love, and this is what it should be. People, again, want to find out more. The website is?
www.friedas.com.
I'm going to ask both of you last question. One word. What one word describes each one of you? What one word describes your mother, and what one word describes your daughter the best? So I'm going to ask you first. What one word describes Jackie?
Organized.
Organized. What one word describes your mother?
Passionate.
Passionate. I am honored to have both you guys join us.
Thank
It's
you.
great. And let me just tell you, anytime you're up in this part of LA, you are always welcome on our show, and I'm being very serious on that, okay? Actually, it'd be a lot of fun to have you as a mentor, to help mentor some of you.
That's what I do a lot.
Would you like to do that?
Yes.
Okay, we're going to set something up. Maybe both of you come on as a mentor in the future, okay?
Thank you.
Okay, we'll set that up. Thank you very much for joining us. When we come back, we'll find out all those search engines. You know them. LinkedIn, that's right. That's a search engine. It searches for people. How do you stay on top of those? Gregory Markell is going to help us understand that. And later on, how do you hack your body? He's hacked his body from losing over 150 pounds and enhancing his IQ by 20 points. How do you do it? We'll find out from David Asprey himself. I'm Ken Rakowski. You're listening to Business Rockstars. How to avoid procrastination. I'm Ken Rakowski. This is a Business Rockstars Minute. Anytime you procrastinate, you're not working efficiently because you essentially are borrowing against your time in the future. You're not managing your time wisely, and you're not allowing two things to happen. You are adding your workload burden, and you're making it harder on yourself to get things done in the future. If you do this often, it's not that you're lazy, there's something else going on. It might be you are trying to avoid somebody. You may not like your job. You may not think this is your job, and some people say, I'm just too busy. If you're really just too busy, then it's not procrastination. It means something else. You might need help in organization, or you might need to say no on other assignments until you catch up. This has been a Business Rockstars Minute. For more Business Rockstars, go to businessrockstars.com.
Geico presents Strange Savings Stories. Sam Tucker woke to find crop circles in his cornfield that spelled out the word Geico. Was this a message sent by aliens? Sam went to Geico.com and saved hundreds of dollars with great discounts. He woke the next day to find new crop patterns had formed. They spelled out, "You the man." It seems the aliens were pleased indeed.
Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance.
I like my breakfast like I like my rock. Soft. So I eat Belvita Soft Baked Breakfast Biscuits, a tasty breakfast option for nutritious morning energy. It's just what I want before writing a flute solo that will softly rock every dentist's office around. Try Belvita Soft Baked in oats and chocolate, cinnamon, mixed berry, and banana bread. Belvita, morning win.
This is your Daily High, and I'm Andy Greenberg. Today we're going to be talking about somewhat of a sensitive topic. Some believe in it, some don't, and it's called reincarnation. Now, whether you believe in it or not, just work with me a little bit and ask yourself the following question. If you were to be reincarnated, not in the past, by the way, but for the future, what type of a character would you like to return in the next life? How would you like to be reincarnated? What is it that you want to do? What success do you want to be able to achieve? Now, guess what? You can do that right now without waiting for the next life. Because once you've mapped out who you want to be, what you want to do, what you want to be known for, you can get started in this life. You don't have to wait for the next life. So now that you have that in mind, reincarnate yourself today. Turn yourself into the person you really want to be. This is Andy Greenberg. Enjoy your Daily High.
I'm feeling good. I'm feeling pleasure.
Hey, if you've got joint discomfort or nagging injuries that make it harder to exercise and enjoy your favorite activities, you can improve your quality of life now. Here's a little joint health. Sure. While you're out shopping, head over to Walmart, go to the vitamin aisle, and pick up a bottle of FlexSure at special rollback discounted prices while supplies last. We want to encourage thousands to try this powerful joint health supplement. After years of cutting-edge clinical studies, there's finally something different and better than anything else out there. FlexSure is that good. You'll notice the results in just days. The clinical studies show that FlexSure reactivates the body's ability to produce its own glucosamine naturally. This means FlexSure is way more efficient and effective than taking glucosamine or other joint supplements. Take advantage of the lowest prices ever at Walmart. Visit us at flexsure.com to learn more and find a store near you.
This is Business Rockstars, where we introduce you to the rock stars of the business world, so you can become a rock star too.
My buddy Mark Cuban says this: always look for the fool in the deal. If you don't see one, the fool is probably you. Ken Rakowski, Business Rockstars, starting, growing, and funding your passion is something that's real and sustainable. We're here to help you do that by bringing you rock stars from around the world that have done it themselves. Also remember, Nolan Bushnell, Mr. B as I call him, he, of course, has created companies like Chuck E. Cheese and Atari, in-car navigation. He would be probably one of those mad scientists who successfully has created great businesses that have changed the face of the planet. Steve Jobs has even worked for him. Well, next week we are doing a webinar with Nolan. This is where you have an opportunity to do a Q&A. Nolan is yours live. Make sure you register over at businessrockstars.com. Be part of the webinar. Space is limited. Thank you to LegalZoom for sponsoring it. They were able to get it down to free. Doesn't cost anything. And if you go to LegalZoom.com and use the promo code ROCKSTAR, they have some pretty good discounts there. Do you ever use LegalZoom? Gregory Marquette.
Yes, I have, actually. LegalZoom did my will.
Did your will?
My will. My will's ready to go. I'm not. But my will is.
LegalZoom.com, again, Rockstar. They're not a law firm, but they provide great service. So thank you very much, LegalZoom. Gregory Markel's joining us. Infuse Creative is Gregory's company. Greg, why is your phone pointed at me right now?
I'm surveying you for the NSA.
There we go.
Yeah.
They can do that. No,
I'm using Periscope on infusecreative.com. Hi, everybody.
Is Periscope the de facto winner between Meerkat and Periscope? Is that the one that's going to win out?
The largest broadcast I've seen yet was actually on Meerkat. It was 45,000 people.
45,000.
Yeah.
I got it up to 253 people.
Congratulations.
Because I used the word sexy in my title. I'm being serious.
That works?
Sexy or hot for some reason.
I'm being facetious for
what
those
we're
on
talking
radio.
about, what is Meerkat and what is Periscope? What are
Okay, we're talking about that. All right, so some people might remember something called Ustream. But
Still there.
forget it. It's your older brother's approach.
I don't understand. The only difference is Meerkat and Periscope automatically put a link inside Twitter. That's really basically it, right?
Well, yeah, it also integrates based on popularity. It's easier to build an audience based on your popularity. But personally, interface-wise, I tend to like Periscope better.
I like Periscope better, but I do like Ustream better because it does store everything on the cloud, where Periscope and Meerkat stored on your phone. Not a big fan of that, which I'm kind of surprised on that. They're not cloud storing anything.
Yeah, well, cost.
Well, there's a cost to both of those companies. Yeah. Greg, I'm happy that you're here. I'm happy that you're Periscoping. How many people we have? Like 3? 5? 7.
100.
No, you don't. There's no way I have 100 people on there. It's really hard to get an audience in these things.
I think there's 2 zeros there, but my eyes aren't so good.
Hey, let's talk about something I thought was pretty interesting. We had Audrey Napoleon here the other day, and she is a DJ performer. And she says every time she posts something on Facebook, she used to get 600 to 800 likes right away. And now Facebook is somewhat turned that down and asking her to advertise.
Yeah, I'm not sure about this, but there's a rumor that Facebook is in business to make money. So what they've done over the last year and a half, and so much has been written about this in the agency land and all over social media and advertising blogs and things, they've radically ratcheted down the organic reach. Now, if you are able to generate content that legitimately goes viral, so to speak, you can still reach a whole lot of people
without doubt,
organically.
I posted a video and I have 3.5 million views on Facebook.
Well, there you go.
Okay.
There you go.
I didn't.
What was that video, Ken? Can we talk about it on the air?
I could totally tell you what it was. It was Elvis Presley and Frank Sinatra singing together. It was a great video. Okay. 3.5 million people watched.
That's awesome. Well, there you go.
But if I put a picture up, I don't get the same type of traffic I used to.
Well, the problem with it is this, right? It's so hit and miss, right?
Totally hit or miss.
And if you're a brand or you're a startup or you're an entrepreneur and you don't want to gamble with whether or not you're going to reach people today or not, then Facebook is pushing you into a corner. But the good news is, you can run an effective campaign for a relatively low amount of money if you're a startup or an entrepreneur.
What's low to you?
Whatever you want it to be. You want to spend $10 or $20 a day?
It could be as little as that.
Sure.
And that will get you what type of audience do you think?
Well, let me just use some general numbers because it's going to vary based on your interest targeting, et cetera. But I can reach, all right, there's something we're working on right now. We have a particular post that we want to bump up a bit. So for $5, I can reach between 22 and 45,000 people with certainty, right? With a degree of certainty. And I can get feedback on that, see what people liked, what they didn't like, et cetera. Well, it doesn't guarantee engagement.
Right, I understand, but it puts it in front of someone to like it or comment.
That is a caveat, by the way. You still have to come up with posts that are interesting and engaging. And man, you see the difference when you do. And here's an example. So when it works, it will generate numbers. Well, there's 2 ways to approach this. One is just to generate the numbers by itself, whether it catches on or goes viral or not. Secondly, and movie studios do this a lot, is you can pay to kind of seed the momentum, right? Seed the targeting and seed the momentum, and then see if it catches organically. And if it does, you don't have to keep paying. So, and that's
because the fire's finally started and it's now.
Well, people can find out about it because all the brands are finding out now that even if you have something valuable I mean, I won't mention numbers, but
having it found is tough.
There was a major film trailer that debuted on Facebook, and it debuted on a page.
Wait, on Facebook?
On Facebook.
Interesting, okay.
And it debuted on a page that has about 4.5 million followers, right?
And?
The organic was not fantastic.
Wow. So you had to pay? They had to pay for it then to get some visibility.
Yeah, and the difference between that initial organic post, paid post, was massive. It was in the millions.
I think I know what trailer it was. I like that trailer, and I'm looking forward to seeing the
it's a
movie.
good trailer.
It's going to be later on this summer.
Yeah.
So, Greg, you're going to recommend as little as $5 if you budget it properly, $150 a month. You can get some great traction utilizing Facebook properly.
Yes, and while you're doing that, don't do it just to do it.
I understand.
Do it make sure you take a particular approach to it in terms of measurement and tuning and effectiveness.
That's the way to do it.
You want to experiment with your interest targeting. That's really what makes a difference.
I love it. Gregory Markell from Infuse Creative, thanks a lot for hanging out with us.
My pleasure.
And how do you hack your body? We'll find out later on from Mr. David Asprey. I'm Ken Rakowski. You listen to Business Rockstars.
is Business Rockstars, where we introduce you to the rock stars of the business world so you can become a rock star too.
So we always like to start with a quote on every show. Scott Bilski from Behance, he says this: it's not about ideas, it's about making those ideas happen. It's true, right? Everyone's got an idea. Make it happen. I'm Ken Racab. Business Rockstars, from starting to growing to funding your passion is something that's real and sustainable. We are here every single day to make it happen by teaching you how to do it from the people that made it happen themselves. Going to have a lot of fun a little later on. Walter O'Brien, you know who he is, right? Walter O'Brien, he's been on TV shows like, well, how about his Scorpion, which is all about him. He's going to join us in studio. He's considered one of his highest IQs in the world. We'll find out what it took to get his show going and his concierge service, which is pretty amazing. So Walter will join us, and later on, David Asprey, and how to hack ourselves to become more efficient in what we do. Lots going on. BusinessRockstars.com is your spot every single day to hear from such brilliant people. How about this? Let's cross out brilliant. Amazing people. Because they're just like you, and they found a way to make things happen. Gotta love that. BusinessRockstars.com. Hey, check this out. Nolan Bushnell, good friend of mine. I've known him for about 20 years. I am constantly amazed by him. I'm in awe. And next week, we're going to spend an hour together, not just Nolan and myself, but you too. You're going to spend an hour with Nolan, no interruptions, just the three of us, I guess. Or hopefully 3 plus 500, because that's all we have. We have room only for 500. We're going to do an intimate conversation with Nolan, with you being part of this. You can ask him any question you want. It's our first series of webinars sponsored by LegalZoom. Thank you, LegalZoom. Just go to businessrockstars.com. Space is limited. And LegalZoom is taking it from a $179 deal to free. It's free because LegalZoom has sponsored it. So go to businessrockstars.com and sign up to be part of our first series of webinars with Nolan Bushnell. You want to be part of it. It's going to be really cool. Chuck E. Cheese, Atari, in-car navigation, the Autobot. Yeah, he created something called the Autobot. Yeah, I know. Also, LegalZoom, what a great group of people. They have given you, Business Rockstars listener, this awesome deal by going to LegalZoom.com using the promo code Rockstars. You get a great discount on all kinds of services and documentation. Go to LegalZoom.com. They're not a law firm, so they provide great services to you and documentation, and use the promo code Rockstar. So I was thinking about this idea of, I have optimistic friends, I have realistic friends, and I have pessimistic friends. Which ones do you have? You have them all too? Oh, I'm a realist. All my pessimistic friends always say, yeah, I'm a realist. I don't know about you. You're a downer at times. That's what you are. Most of my friends that are entrepreneurs, they're optimistic on every sense of the term. They are just really ready to go. They have what I would call confidence. Sometimes you might have too much confidence, right? Tony Fadell, creator of Nest, who was formerly of Apple Computer, went over to Google because Google bought him for $3.2 billion. He was talking about the idea of having, doubts and not really understanding boundaries properly.
Because when you're trying to differentiate, when you're trying to do something different, there's going to be that gut moment, that gut sense. Is this right? Is this not right? If you're not having doubt, you're not pushing the boundaries far enough.
Yeah, in every sense of the term. NASA, think about NASA. They send probes into space, and they are constantly doubting. They have an entire division of NASA that is all around the idea of problems, doubt. They call it the doubt group. And that group there is to make sure all doubts are eliminated. And then on top of it, the doubts that are eliminated, they have doubts on top of those eliminations of those doubts. I mean, they build upon one another because they're stretching the outer limits. They are. They're sending probes to the Kuiper Belt, way outside our own solar system. So the minute you start going beyond our comfort zones, we have doubts. It's part of the deal. It's kind of exciting too, because once you get to the outer part of your comfort and you find a way to make it happen, it's not your outer part anymore, because you could go even further. You know what I'm talking about, right? Remember when you were a kid and you play in your own yard, and then maybe you were able to go to the next yard, and all of a sudden you just expanded your doubt zone. You're not doubt. I'm not nervous. I'm not afraid. Same thing in business. Once you learn one talent, now you know it. You're not uncomfortable with it because you've learned it. Now you can go to the next thing. The whole idea is, how do you expand yourself, not feeling uncomfortable about the unknown? Because that's what doubt is, right? You're uncomfortable about the unknown and how to handle if there is an issue or situation. Doubt. I know too many people are a little too confident and they say, don't worry about it. We'll take care of it. Not a problem. Well, okay, that's great. I understand we're going to do something brand new. What's your contingency plan in case something goes wrong? We don't need a contingency plan. It's not a problem. No, it's going to be a problem if there is a problem. I need you to tell me that if there is a doubt in your mind, how do you handle it? I love when I talk to businesses that realize they are stretching the outer bounds and they have a contingency plan in case something just doesn't go the way things are planned. Smart. NASA does it. NASCAR does it. Football does it. Why do you think people are so well padded now? It's because they have found problems when excessive tackling happens. That's why there's certain types of padding, because they have had problems in the past. So what I want you to do is I want you to operate the way NASA and NASCAR operate and have contingency plans on everything you do. Okay? First thing is, and it's the main one, is always know something potentially will go wrong. Just understand that and accept it. In business, something will always potentially go wrong. Always. Somebody's going to be sick in your business that handles crucial things, and they're not going to be in the office. How do you handle that? You're going to get a big tax you did not expect. How do you handle that? The market just crashed, and you cannot get the loan you thought you were going to get. How do you handle that? You have gotten sick, and you can't go into the office for 2 months. How are you going to handle that? I know they're crazy. I just set some pretty big situations. You know, there's ones where someone dies in your office that's really crucial. How do you handle that? These are questions that really smart business operators ask on a regular basis. They do have doubt if something's going to happen, and then they find a way to have a contingency plan to back everything up. Our system is going to go down. Computer system is going to go down. What do? Sony didn't have a good backup plan. We know that. I want you to accept problems will happen. Got it? Good. Because the minute we start planning for a problem, even if it doesn't happen, the contingency plan's in mind. If you notice, when we have different PR executives join us in the studio, they always say, hey, we are always ready when something hits the fan. We have a plan to make sure we know what the talking points are, how to make sure it moves forward, even though it's going to be painful, but we plan moving forward. Does this make sense? See, most people, if they are planning it properly and it doesn't happen, they're even stronger in the path that they're heading, because they know, hey, if something happens, we have a contingency plan so I can move faster moving forward. It's confidence. It's a good form of confidence when you plan things properly. And I want you as an entrepreneur to plan things properly moving forward. And again, what's the rule? Let's make sure we understand. Something will go wrong. Something will go wrong. Now, every once in a while, the ones that go wrong that, some people have to plan, like in Los Angeles, we've had, in the past, we had blackouts or brownouts because there was power issues. Yeah, I know certain places that do have this, and they have generators. Smart move, because they don't want the refrigeration when it goes down to go down, and all of a sudden all the produce or food they have doesn't work anymore. So they have backup generators, and they might only use them a few times in a decade. But those few times paid for those generators because they didn't lose anything. That right there is planning for the expected, even if it doesn't happen. Great contingency plan. So what is your contingency plan? What are you planning for your office and for you personally? Do you have DI, disability insurance? As an executive, I have DI insurance. Something happens to me, I will receive a check on a regular basis, like life insurance. I'm not dying, but if I'm incapable of working, I have a source of revenue for a certain period of time. I plan for something I hope never happens, but if it does, I'm backed up. Are you doing the same thing? I hope you are. All right, when we come back. Now, I do generally say these people in the studio don't have any superhuman mutant powers. This guy does. He's got it in his head. He's one of the smartest people on the planet. But that actually was his problem. And the people he hangs out with have a similar problem. That is, they're too smart. How do you deal with people that are too smart? How do you get them to work really efficiently? We're going to find out. Walter O'Brien's going to join us. I'm Ken Rakowski. You're listening to Business Rockstars. It's time to disobey your fears. I'm Ken Rakowski. This is a Business Rockstars Minute. What generally stops everybody is not knowing what's going to happen, and that's called fear. Fear is what stops all great entrepreneurs on building anything. It's that first step. So I give you permission to disobey your fear. Yeah, disobey it, because that's what's holding you back, is your fear. Fear is what holds every successful person or potential successful person behind. Fear is just basically not really understanding what's in front of you. So all you got to do is use a very simple formula. You got to get the knowledge, which gives you the courage to take the action. And then your fear is eliminated. So your fear will bring you to success. You get the knowledge, you get the courage to take the action, and fear goes behind you. It's time to say goodbye to fear and disobey it. I'm Ken Rakowski. This has been a Business Rockstars Minute.
Geico presents Strange Savings Stories. Sam Tucker woke to find crop circles in his cornfield that spelled out the word Geico. Was this a message sent by aliens? Sam went to Geico.com and saved hundreds of dollars with great discounts. He woke the next day to find new crop patterns had formed. They spelled out, "You the man." It seems the aliens were pleased indeed.
Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance.
I like my breakfast like I like my rock. Soft. So I eat Belvita soft baked breakfast biscuits, a tasty breakfast option for nutritious morning energy. It's just what I want before writing a flute solo that will softly rock every dentist's office around. Try Belvita soft baked in oats and chocolate, cinnamon, mixed berry, and banana bread. Belvita, morn and win.
Spring is here, and you may be dreaming about being outside working in your garden, doing some landscaping, or just general home improvement. With the right tools and equipment, you can get all those do-it-yourself projects done while saving yourself time and money and the sweat of going it alone. Donna Beadle with Polaris has more.
One piece of equipment that you'll use all summer long is an off-road vehicle. They are great for heavy jobs that require additional workers. Projects like hauling rocks or mulching your yard go a lot quicker with a side-by-side. Even removing dead branches or towing out a tree is a snap.
What are some other advantages to a side-by-side?
Polaris Ranger side-by-sides give you the power, versatility, and handling that let you get the project done right the first time. And after all the hard work, you can then go out and hit the trail for some fun with your family.
To learn more about the versatility of side-by-sides, visit PolarisIndustries.com. That's PolarisIndustries.com. I'm Bob Tebow for the Consumer Radio Network.
I'm feeling good. I'm feeling pleasure.
Hey, if you've got joint discomfort or nagging injuries that make it harder to exercise and enjoy your favorite activities, you can improve your quality of life now. Here's a little joint health tip from FlexSure. While you're out shopping, head over to Walmart, go to the vitamin aisle, and pick up a bottle of FlexSure at special rollback discounted prices while supplies last. We want to encourage thousands to try this powerful joint health supplement. After years of cutting-edge clinical studies, there's finally something different and better than anything else out there. FlexSure is that good. You'll notice the results in just days. The clinical studies show that FlexSure reactivates the body's ability to produce its own glucosamine naturally. This means FlexSure is way more efficient and effective than taking glucosamine or other joint supplements. Take advantage of the lowest prices ever at Walmart. Visit us at FlexSure.com to learn more and find a store near you.
Business Rockstars. Starting a business, finding the money. What you need to know to become a rockstar entrepreneur.
One of the partners of IDEO. IDEO is this insanely massive design company. And the Tom Kelly says this: fail often so you could succeed sooner. That's right. You hit the brick wall so you get around it faster. Ken Rokowski, Business Rockstars, starting, growing, and funding your passion is something real and sustainable. We're here to help you do that by bringing you rock stars from around the world. And again, Nolan Bushnell is going to join us later on in our webinar series starting next week. Hopefully I could convince our next guest to be part of our webinar series. Fingers are crossed. Sponsored by LegalZoom, Nolan's going to talk about how to start a business, how to hire the right people, because remember, he hired Steve Jobs, and how to fake it till you make it. You got to go to businessrockstars.com and sign up for that. I want to thank LegalZoom for sponsoring it. They got the price down to nothing for you. That's right, limited space. And LegalZoom is also helping you out when it comes to your documentations and everything. I mean, they're not a law firm, but they offer some of the best stuff out there. Use the promo code ROCKSTAR. Joining me in the studio, generally I say, these people are like you. They don't have any superhuman mutant powers. Now there's an exception. Exception is this guy, because Walter O'Brien, I've known for about a decade, I think.
Yeah, about that now.
About a decade. I have my personal story, which to me is the most, I would say, the most unusual way to meet somebody, because you did not know how to market yourself or even talk about yourself. Do you remember when we first met?
No, absolutely.
Okay, yeah. I remember the restaurant. You sat down, opened up your wallet, and you go, hey, I don't know how to describe myself. And you pulled out newspaper clippings about yourself. And you said, just read these. So I sat there for about 10 minutes reading in front of you these newspaper clippings. That's how you introduced yourself.
And 10 years later, you still remember me.
You still doing that way?
No, not quite.
What do you do now? You just show the TV trailer?
No, I just point them to the website with the news clippings.
Walter O'Brien, I want to first say congratulations, second season of Scorpion on CBS.
Thank you.
It's going pretty well.
Yeah. We for a couple of weeks there, our ratings beat NCIS and CSI.
Which is amazing. But well, I think those shows have been around, 15 years?
12, 13 years, yeah.
So it's time for the baton to be handed off to something else. Well, but...
Yeah, and we wanted to be the A-team / MacGyver of, teenagers growing up, kind of like a cyber James Bond, modern version of James Bond. And that's the feedback we're getting. Kids are watching it with their parents and loving it.
And getting inspired to start looking at things that are not sports related.
The amount of emails I have now saying, I'm going to study computer science. I want to study what you studied. What books did you read? The fan mail is incredible. It's very, very supportive.
But that's what you wanted. That was
Absolutely.
The whole goal of what the whole show was about, right?
8 years from now, I hope to hire those kids as they graduate.
So Walter is a unique case. You came to the United States on a very unique visa, correct?
Right, the EB-11 visa. It's an extraordinary ability visa where you're of national interest to the U.S. economy.
Einstein had that, I think.
The previous people given the same kind of fast track was Einstein and Winston Churchill.
Wow, okay. And you came to the United States. Did you know what you were going to do when you came to the United States?
I knew it would be in technology and computers, but as that universe blew up and expanded, I had no idea which aspect of it.
Right.
My whole journey, I started by doing kind of like Geek Squad does now, running around fixing people's printers and computers.
That's what you're doing initially.
Barcode scanners and stuff like that. Yeah, because it was Ireland 1987. That was all we had. The fancy cash registers was basically what I was fixing. And then I got into globalization, translating U.S. software into 49 commercial languages so we could sell it in other countries and writing the tools for that. And then I fell into bigger problems, supply chain management for Ericsson and Caterpillar and Motorola, where how do you get all the chips and pieces for your phone together on time to manufacture 100 or a million phones?
You see the problem and the solutions very quickly. That's something you just do. That's inherently about you.
It's intuitive to me, yeah.
Right. It's part of what you are. You have a high IQ, which does not necessarily mean you're smart. I mean, not you particularly. Correct. It just means you have a better way or a different way of processing. It's basically you have a fast processor. As long as the information is accurate, then that's what makes you smart, correct?
Correct. Cornell published a report a little while ago saying that 85% of your success and wealth is built by your EQ, your ability to do human engineering of others.
That's the emotional quota.
Correct. And 15% comes from your IQ. So I had IQ, but very little EQ, and spent the rest of my life trying to build up and change the EQ to try and be a little bit better, well-rounded.
Well, in the decade that I've known you, your EQ has changed dramatically.
Thank you. I've had a couple of people comment on that.
Well, haven't you noticed it too?
I actually noticed the effect of it more. The
byproduct.
The byproduct of having more friends, having a greater network, having more things happen, to be invited to more things, to get majority vote for more things. And a lot of it I dedicate back to, I probably have epiphanies about once every 4 years or so, kind of a light bulb turns on. And I think early in my years, I was very divisive. People either loved me or hated me based on what I did. And I was okay with that because the ones who loved me were usually the change agents and the more dynamic people, but they were also the minority.
Real quick, Walter O'Brien's joining us. If you go to businessrockstars.com, you can see what's happening in the studio while we're talking to you on radio. On Walter's, what is that? That's your right hand. You have a ring, and on that ring, there's a symbol. What is it?
That's the scorpion. The top executives in our company all wear these because we're married to our work.
Are you serious? Is that why you have them?
Yeah, it's actually, the company's as much a cult as it is a company. People really believe in the mission of what we're doing and the nature and value system of integrity of how we want to work.
What is the company?
ScorpionComputerServices.com.
It's beyond computers, isn't it?
It has. That's what's happened over the last 5 years. It's exciting. We opened up a new brand, actually, because our original name didn't represent it properly, called ConciergeUp.com.
Which I love this idea. Why don't you explain it?
Normally, if you're at a hotel, you concierge down things that are too simple to do yourself. Get me a taxi, get my dry cleaning. Imagine if you could concierge up in your life things that are too complex to do yourself, or you don't have time.
Like what?
Make my book a bestseller, retire my parents, put a Shark Tank in my office, choose winning racehorses based on their DNA.
What you've actually done by that. This is old requests that you've already fulfilled.
Correct. Yes. And we get these requests now every hour on conciergeup.com. People type them in. You type it in Google if you want to search it. You type it in Concierge Up if you want it to happen.
I love the confidence. It's true. How big is your team?
Now we're consortium's a little over 3,000 people.
3,000 people, and you buy a Scorpion currency. And you use this currency, which is very inexpensive, by the way, because you found
$150 an hour.
And that's the group you get.
Right.
So it's not one person. You get the combined force of Scorpion.
You get, because of what you talked about earlier with the IQ versus EQ, we realized that with EQ being so important, we had to hire people we call super nannies. And super nannies are people with naturally high EQ, usually a psychology background with a certification in PMP.
Which we see that on the TV show.
Correct. Catherine McPhee on the TV show plays the first super nanny.
What does
PMP stands for Project Management Professional, kind of like a general contractor. So that's the account manager who gets assigned to you, the super nanny or super butler, and then they babysit the geniuses and the customers to communicate back and forth what they need. So if they talk directly to each other, it's a disaster.
So I want you to do this. When we come back, Walter, help us manage smart people, high IQ. Can you help us, give us 3 tips?
Sure, absolutely.
Okay, Walter O'Brien's joining us, Scorpion Computer Services. Our Concierge Up is the other platform, which you want to go check out. Both of them are pretty amazing. He is from the TV show Scorpion. He is Scorpion himself. He's Walter O'Brien. When we come back, we'll find out what it takes to manage high IQ people. I'm Ken Rakowski. You listen to Business Rockstars. It's time to take profanity out of business. I'm Ken Rakowski. This is a Business Rockstars Minute. I love the English language. It's one of the most complex on the planet. So why do we need to swear? Why do we need to use profanity? See, when you talk intelligent, it brings you up a whole new level. Come on, you want your bombastic phraseology to be too copious for most people's apprehension. That's what you want to sound like. You want to sound like you have an MD, PhD in whatever you say. When you use profanity, it brings you down a level. It brings you to a point where you don't even know what the words you use mean. So why use profanity when there's so many other great words that are out there that can actually help you in business? It's time for you to open up a dictionary and learn real words that really matter. Profanity? Why? Lowers your IQ, lowers the way people see you. It's time to bring you up a whole new level, learning bigger words that matter. I'm Ken Rakowski. This is a Business Rockstars Minute.
Attention! Renew is currently seeking participants who are dealing with stress and unhappiness. If you are experiencing one or more of the following symptoms, you are eligible to participate in the trial and receive a free 2-week supply of the mood-boosting supplement, Renew. To be eligible, your symptoms may include fatigue, hopelessness, tension, negative mood, anxiety, or lack of sleep. Renew is an all-natural, doctor-recommended supplement that will help boost your mood and give you more energy right away. Renew has been featured on Oprah and The View and has already helped over 1 million people feel better naturally. Now you are eligible to participate in the free trial if you or someone you know are experiencing symptoms of stress and unhappiness. Call now to participate in the trial and receive a free 2-week supply of Renew.
To participate in the Renew trial and get a free supply, call 1-800-514-1000. 1-800-514-1000. Call 1-800-514-1000. 1-800-514-1000.
Allstate's 10th annual America's Best Drivers Report ranks the largest 200 cities in the country based on car collision frequency. Fort Collins, Colorado is named America's safest driving city, with Brownsville, Texas coming in second. Allstate's Mike Roach explains how, this year, the report is more comprehensive than ever.
On the Allstate website, we now have a new tool that's interactive and allows consumers to look at their city's rankings for 2014 and to look back historically for their rankings during the 10-year history that we've run this report.
For the first time, the report factors in how things like population density, and precipitation can affect each city's ranking. Allstate offers tips on dealing with these challenging roadway conditions.
When driving in precipitation, it's always key to know and understand the road conditions, where you're heading, and also keeping your vehicle properly maintained, because you never know when bad weather is going to strike.
To see the 2014 rankings and interactive map, visit allstate.com/bestdriversreport.
I'm Bob DeRigo Jones, and this is Let's Be Fair. With weather turning warmer, many kids want to start riding their bikes to school. And why not? Cycling is not only great fun, it's healthy. But some school districts across the country have actually banned biking to and from school. The reason? Officials point to safety concerns and an underlying fear that they'll be sued if a child is injured while riding their bike to or from school. A national organization that promotes bicycling estimates that restrictive school policies act as a barrier to children biking to school for more than 8 million American families. But are these policies really better for the school and students? Well, that's debatable. The group has published a report that indicates bike bans may actually expose a school to more liability than letting kids ride. Let's be fair, safety and bike riding can go together. Thoughtful policies that allow school not only respect parental rights, they provide needed options for families and support student health and educational success too. Learn more. Visit our website at centerforamerica.org.
This is Business Rockstars, where we teach you what you need to know to become a rock star entrepreneur.
I like this next quote. It actually, I think, works with Rockstar in the studio right now. Here's the quote. It's from Biz Stone from Twitter. It says, "Timing, perseverance, and 10 years of trying will eventually make you look like an overnight success." Ken Rakowski, Business Rockstars, joining me in the studio right now, and see who's hanging out with us while you're listening to us on radio. BusinessRockstars.com is our website. Joining me is Mr. Walter O'Brien, a overnight 10-year success. I mean, let's face
25 years.
25 years. You have, because you were in most cases, and not with the NSA and not with FBI and Interpol. They all knew you, but no one really knew you until...
Yeah, I mean, we do government work and we do Fortune 500 work. And the first thing to do in a Fortune 500 contract is put you under non-disclosure.
Right.
Can't talk about it. You can't do a press release about it. They won't do a reference on it. You're lucky if they say you worked here from this date to this date, and that's all they say. They won't say you were good or bad. So it's very hard to talk about or prove a lot of the stuff we've done because it wasn't in the public eye.
So when someone typed your name in prior to the TV show, nothing really would show up because they couldn't talk about you.
The old stuff we did with the Olympics and competitions I won and stuff like that would show up. But yeah, definitely wasn't in the public eye until the TV show came out.
Now, I want people to realize that your team has solved some pretty big mysteries or some pretty big situations. For example, which is, I would say in the news right now, the Boston bombing. What is something you guys do with the Boston bombing?
Well, with us, it's the technology that Scorpion produces is all around image recognition, video recognition, and what they call intelligent surveillance. So it's when you have footage, like you had in the Boston bombing, you had 4,000 hours of footage, you can't watch it all fast enough. So you have to figure out, okay, what matters? Which parts of this footage have nothing interesting going on, and how can we eliminate that? And then which parts of it where people are reacting
is questionable.
Can we define what they call herd think, where you track everyone's heads and you see that everyone went down at the same time, was surprised at the same time, ran in the same direction at the same speed. Now, if someone moved early, didn't go down, didn't act surprised, or walked in the opposite direction, they're not acting like the rest of the herd. And there's software that can detect this stuff, and we write that kind of software.
That's amazing. Walter O'Brien's joining us. So, Walter, IQ-wise, over a certain IQ, what's considered a high IQ level? 140 and above?
140 is Mensa, yeah. So that's considered in the top, I think, top 2% or less.
So my son's like a 172, I think, okay?
Wow.
He's up there. Yeah, but at 172, he changes in most respects to other kids, right? He's different. You already know this. You know, people would say you're on the spectrum in some cases when you're up there, okay? So when someone has a high IQ, they might be able to do certain things really well. My son speaks multiple languages. Any instrument he touches, he could play within an hour. I mean, he's got superhuman capabilities. But on the other side, connecting with people is a little different. EQ is different.
Yeah, and that happens because you connect with people normally based on what you have in common with them. The less you have in common with them, the harder it is to connect. Also, when you're trying to deliver a message, usually you have your inner voice, your inner sounding board. So if you had something awkward to tell a friend, you'd ask yourself first, what's a good way of saying this that wouldn't hurt my feelings? Well, that inner sounding board, which is a mirror of your own mind, is broken and offset when you're a prodigy. So what you would say to yourself, like, I look fat in those jeans, might be fine to you, but it's not fine to the general public. And you don't know what appropriate means.
So how can you give us suggestions how to deal with really smart people that are working for us?
There's a number of things. Number one, their number one concern is they would get bored.
Really fast,
we
actually.
put all of our guys on 3 projects at the same time, constantly context switching every week, even if they're little projects, just so they don't get bored. Secondly, they hate when their boss is an idiot. So they want the boss above them to be smarter than them or more experienced so they can learn. Learning is more important to them, again, than money. Constantly be learning. And the super nannies teach them EQ, which is the one thing they don't know. So they like learning that because it starts re-engineering and changing themselves. And they can see the results for it. And we have 7 different ways of teaching them EQ.
Okay.
But only 70% of the prodigies are capable of changing themselves. The other 30% are so stuck in a cycle, they're not smart enough to change themselves, and we have to let them go. They
do you find them
flake out of probation.
I was going to say, do you figure them out fairly quickly, or does it take some time?
Some we figure out in the initial interview. Some it takes 6 months to figure out.
Okay.
Other things is just a sense of fairness. They want to be treated fair for what they do and what they contribute. They like to quantify things that people normally don't quantify in a business situation. And they feel better if mathematically in their head they know they're treated fairly and appreciated for the meaning of what they do.
So
they need to be on a mission.
Reward-wise, how do you compensate or reward a highly intelligent individual?
Well, actually the normal rewards of, let's give them a vacation or a prize or whatever,
right.
They see through all of that because they realize the value add cost of it. And they say, why don't you just give me the money for it and I'll decide what prize I want to buy myself, because they're smart people.
Right.
So for them, the reward is more recognition. Maybe they get the credit or their name ends up on the product or they end up on the website to be recognized as being great at what they do. And the second example I'll give is, let's say 3 people work on a project and the other 2 didn't pull their weight and you ended up doing half the work. And you were able to prove to me, because we track everything, you did half the work. That meant I was minus 16% unfair to you and plus 8% extra fair to the others, because I paid you all 33 1/3. That, and I give you a 16% raise for the same number of hours on the next project, it means I've load balanced your unfairness through 0. So you're good with me by the end of the second project, because in your mind, you're back at 0 fairness.
Wow. And you're constantly figuring this out with the people you're working with.
And we have our own court system where people can argue and appeal their unfairness points.
I'd like to see that court.
It works wonderfully well because people actually, once you start putting a number on it, it just becomes math, and they're very comfortable with math.
Walter O'Brien's joining us, scorpioncomputers.com, scorpioncomputerservices.com, and
conciergeup.com.
That's it. Both of the services are available for you to go check out. And you launched a studio.
Right. We just opened Scorpion Studios a couple of weeks ago because we have the TV show going.
Second season.
So, yeah, we just wrapped first season. Second season's approved. We have to start filming it in July. We also then have a first look deal that we've done with a large billion-dollar studio. That'll be announced shortly in the press. And that's for doing scripted, non-scripted television shows that can come through Scorpion Studios and will be produced like the TV show. And then we're also the tech advisors with Sony on the next Spider-Man. You'll see us in the credits.
Wow.
So for Spider-Man Venom, to helping with all the aspects, the technical aspects of the weapons and the bad guys.
So let's have some fun. Let's put 60 seconds on the clock. We call this the 60-second CEO. Walter O'Brien from, let's just call it Scorpion, is joining us. 60 seconds on the clock. Let's go. Who's your favorite entrepreneur?
It's probably Bill Gates. He was the most ruthless.
If you could have a superpower, what would it be?
I like the one I have.
Which is?
Being smart.
Well, who's your favorite superhero?
Favorite superhero? Probably Batman.
What's your worst bad habit?
I do everything too far, too fast.
Too fast. Yeah. What's the last thing you do before you go to sleep?
I actually have to meditate to help calm my mind down.
How many hours of sleep a night do you get?
About 4.
What's your favorite animal?
Favorite animal? Probably a dog.
What was the last costume you wore?
Ooh, actually, I think it was a Batman costume.
What was the last best book you read?
Fooled by Randomness.
Yeah, if there was one word that describes you the best, what is that one word?
Logical.
Logical. And on a scale 1 to 10, how weird are you?
It's all relative, but I'd give it a good 8.
Walter O'Brien, there you go. Hey, Bill Gates. Bill Gates' favorite entrepreneur. Why Bill Gates?
My personal philosophy is people should be extremely selfish for the first half of their life and extremely unselfish for the second half, because then they can do the most good. So I think if you look at that, Bill Gates was selfish for the first half of his life and then was able to save, 7 million people by writing a single check for malaria for the second half of his life.
It's not about how you come into this world, it's how you leave it, right?
Yeah, it's the total greater good, which is my own personal philosophy. And I think you can't be charitable while you're still a charity yourself.
Very logical. There you go. A dog. Give me 3 adjectives that describe a dog.
Loyal, friendly, energetic.
And that's you.
Yeah.
Right? That you're a dog. You are. I know you. You're all 3 of those without a doubt. The only thing I realized, let me tell you, since I know you fairly well, the one thing that you are not good at doing, you're horrible at small talk.
Correct.
You can't chit-chat at all. You just can't.
Very quickly, I want to get into what's your purpose on the planet and why are you here?
You just hate it because I've seen you around, a group of people and they're like, chit-chatting and you just, I'm going to go. And you just walk away and you may have started the conversation. It just cracks me up. So on the Concierge Up, which is, it sounds like it's more of a passion project because it's so much fun right now. The strangest requests you've received that you have fulfilled would be what?
Well, the strangest one we got recently was to rescue a polar bear from a zoo in Argentina and ship it to Canada. We haven't fulfilled it yet. We're still looking at it. But that's one of the stranger ones we got. Other ones are, people with terminal diseases and trying to go outside of the U.S., maybe outside of FDA approval restrictions and find a cure anywhere on the planet for this disease, and we have many, many of those.
So I'm going to read you. I'm working on this talk that I'm giving. Okay, and I thought you would appreciate this. It's very quick. I'm going to read to you what the topic is, and I want you to comment on it in about a minute. Okay, it's called. The topic is the high-tech search for immortality. Why Google, Microsoft, and DARPA are spending billions on immortality. And it says, by 2045, mankind will have a Terminator moment. The rise of the computer will outpace the ability to control them. To keep up, we will have to radically transform our biology by using nanobots and machines to enhance our anatomy's DNA. So the idea of living and dying will change. Do you agree with that?
I agree with the philosophy behind all of that. There's a few mixed metaphors in that. The idea of the Terminator movie is artificial intelligence getting out of control, and taking over humans. And I have a degree in artificial intelligence.
But 2045, do you think it's a pivotal moment?
Subject. I don't think it's a pivotal moment for artificial intelligence. I think that'll take longer. Now, the other thing that was mixed into that was immortality. Now, immortality, to upload the human brain, just our essence is our consciousness and our memories. Everything else is just a temporary rental car. And to be able to back that up and restore it to a stem cell version of ourselves, I think that is possible
That's
within
what I want
the
to hear.
century.
And we're going to get you
but
back
that's
on.
not artificial intelligence.
We're going to get Walter back on in the future. I promise you on that. Walter O'Brien from Scorpion Computer Services and Concierge Up. Thanks a lot for hanging out with us.
Thanks for having me.
I'm Ken Rakowski. When we come back, how do we hack our minds, our bodies, and our business? We'll find out from Dave Asprey. You're listening to Business Rockstars. Have you joined the shared economy? I'm Ken Rakowski. This is a Business Rockstars Minute. Now, what they told us in kindergarten is true. It's good to share, and it's particularly good for the economy and for business. Now, do you remember that $100 drill you bought from the hardware store? You're probably only going to use it for about 20 minutes of combined time. So why not share it? It's all around idled or unused assets that are not being used that someone else is willing to pay for right now. And this has created some big companies. You've probably heard of them: Airbnb, Uber, and TaskRabbit. These are companies that are all about something being shared by somebody else. Think about something that needs to be shared. Think about this whole idea, and maybe it's time for you to jump into the game too. So how about some stuff that people need access to? Anything from horses to boats, from wheelchairs to walkers, and you create a marketplace where people could exchange these items. Now you're part of the shared economy. I'm Ken Rakowski. This has been a Business Rockstars Minute.
Attention! Renew is currently seeking participants who are dealing with stress and unhappiness. If you are experiencing one or more of the following symptoms, you are eligible to participate in the trial and receive a free 2-week supply of the mood-boosting supplement, Renew. To be eligible, your symptoms may include fatigue, hopelessness, tension, negative mood, anxiety, or lack of sleep. Renew is an all-natural, doctor-recommended supplement that will help boost your mood and give you more energy right away. Renew has been featured on Oprah and The View and has already helped over 1 million people feel better naturally. Now you are eligible to participate in the free trial if you or someone you know are experiencing symptoms of stress and unhappiness. Call now to participate in the trial and receive a free 2-week supply of Renew.
To participate in the Renew trial and get a free supply, call 1-800-514-1000. 1-800-514-1000. Call 1-800-514-1000. 1-800-514-1000.
Allstate's 10th Annual America's Best Drivers Report ranks the largest 200 cities in the country based on car collision frequency. Fort Collins, Colorado is named America's safest driving city, with Brownsville, Texas coming in second. Allstate's Mike Roach explains how, this year, the report is more comprehensive than ever.
On the Allstate website, we now have a new tool that's interactive and allows consumers to look at their city's rankings for 2014 and to look back historically for their rankings during the 10-year history that we've run this report.
For the first time, the report factors in how things like population density, and precipitation can affect each city's ranking. Allstate offers tips on dealing with these challenging roadway conditions.
When driving in precipitation, it's always key to know and understand the road conditions, where you're heading, and also keeping your vehicle properly maintained, because you never know when bad weather's going to strike.
To see the 2014 rankings and interactive map, visit allstate.com/bestdriversreport.
And now, the Lens of Liberty. Here is Helen Kriebel.
When I hear about government spying, lying, secrecy, and overreach, I want a change in leadership. In almost every election, I hear people saying we ought to throw the bums out and replace the old politicians with new politicians. But if we look through the lens of liberty, we see that the problem isn't so much who is in power, but whether government ought to have such power in the first place. Today's government far exceeds the responsibility given to it by the Constitution. Politicians and bureaucrats think they are beyond accountability. That is a threat to freedom no matter who is in power. The real solution is to return government to its constitutional limits, without power over every detail of our lives. Only we, the people, can do this.
For more information, go to lensofliberty.org. That's lensofliberty.org.
is Business Rockstars, where we introduce you to the rock stars of the business world so you can become a rock star too.
The last 10% it takes to launch something, it only takes 90% of the energy. I'm Ken Rakowski, Business Rockstar, starting, growing, and funding your business. Your passion is something real and sustainable right here on Business Rockstars. We're helping you do that by bringing you rock stars that have done it or can help you do it. I want to thank all of you for joining us on a regular basis and help growing this community. Make sure you sign up for our newsletter. It goes out to about 300,000 people every other day, and we want to make sure you're on it. Just go to Business Rockstars. This guy's hacked his brain, his body, and his business, and he can teach you how to do it. He's got 2 great books out. You have Bulletproof Executive, and then you have Bulletproof Diet. Dave Asprey is joining us, and his Bulletproof Coffee Shop is opening. It's not a coffee shop, by the way. I want to cross that off. Bulletproof, what do we call it? Cafe? What is it going to be called, Dave?
It's going to be called the Bulletproof Coffee Shop.
No, it's not, but it's not just coffee.
It's got a full menu, yeah.
Because I drove by it the other day. You took over the old Starbucks location, which blew my mind.
Yeah, we were pretty fortunate to find a coffee shop that was already set up there, and the site has also been an for an eye out. So we have a full kitchen, and we'll be doing some stuff right out of the Bulletproof Diet book. People can eat it and just feel full and satisfied and focused all day.
Again, joining us. So, Dave, I don't know how to do this. Maybe you can teach me. I don't know how to do real meditation. And everyone says meditation for work, being at work, before work, or after work is really important. How do you do it?
When I work with clients, I teach people, first thing is focus on the breath. And there's all kinds of ways you can do this. You can breathe in for 5 seconds, hold for 5 seconds, breathe out for 5 seconds. That's the Navy SEAL box breath right there. And that'll calm you down. The problem is that if you're meditating or doing breathing, you're probably doing it wrong because most of the people who invented meditation, they did it every day for 20 years. So how do you do it faster? Step 1 is you can use some of this new human biofeedback stuff that's coming out, like heart rate variability training, to teach yourself to get into those advanced meditation states in less time, like 10 minutes a day. And I write about this a lot on the Bulletproof blog. You can search for heart rate variability, and there's all kinds of stuff there. But the real turbocharged thing you can do, Ken, is something called 40 Years of Zen.
Okay, I want to know. What does that mean?
40 Years of Zen is an advanced form of neurofeedback. And neurofeedback is when we glue electrodes to your head, or sometimes use a little headband, and we get electrical signals that are leaking from basically the processor that is your brain. And then we use those signals to tell the brain what it's doing. With 40 Years of Zen, what I'm doing with clients is I'm showing their brains how to move into a state that's the same as someone who spent 40 years of daily Zen meditation practice. And you can do this in 7 days. It's really hard to do it in 7 days, but it's like running a marathon every day with your brain. When you do it, though, it changes your life.
But when you use meditation properly, what does it do? It just kind of gets you to focus or to see things a certain way. How do you use meditation, Dave, to make it better for you as an entrepreneur?
Meditation is about building awareness. And what you find as you cultivate awareness is that the reason you act a certain way in a meeting is probably not the reason you told yourself. We all have a story that we tell ourselves. And, I yelled at that person because they're an idiot. It is a common way of putting it. But it may also be that even if the person was acting like an idiot, they're not actually an idiot. They just weren't feeling good today. And it could be that you acted that way because it made you mad. And if you can unpack all of that in real time and realize, okay, that guy's having a bad day. I'm going to take a deep breath. I'm not going to yell at him. I'm going to let him cool off, and then I'm going to go talk to him. You're going to make hundreds of decisions like that every day better because you have more awareness of the situation around you and more awareness of how your body is responding before you've had a chance to think about it.
Dave Asprey is joining us from Bulletproof Executive, Bulletproof Coffee, and, of course, Bulletproof Diet. He's a busy guy. He's launching his new store, which is the Bulletproof Coffee Shop, which is happening in the Los Angeles area later on. I will be at the premiere party. Yay! I'm very excited to see you that week. It's going to be a lot of fun, buddy. Are you excited? Dave, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Yeah, I was just wondering, are you excited about opening? Like, are you nervous?
Oh.
Because this is a brick and mortar. You're opening up a real business. You've done everything online and virtual and podcasts. This is a real physical business. Are you nervous about this?
I'm not nervous at all. I'm ready to have a party. There's things in here that have been dreams of mine for 10 years. I'm going to create an experience when you walk in the door where, like, everything in the store upgrades how I feel. It's not just about the coffee. It's about the quality of my day. So for me to be able to be in that environment, to be around people who are as passionate as me, like, I can't wait. There's no nervousness at all.
So why don't you come in that week, or actually that day, and let's get you in the studio so we can announce it on top of it. And let's get some video of the opening also so people can see it online. You up for that?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Let's make it happen.
Well, we will. It's done. I know the guy that does the show here, so I can talk to him, okay? And I can book it with him. It's not even a problem. So, hey, Dave, last thing. What are you reading that's not one of your own publications right now?
Well, I have a stack of books in front of me.
Like what?
But one of them is a book by John Gray called Staying Focused in a Hyper World. And I'm a fan of John Gray's work. He's famous for the Mars and Venus, Men are from Mars, Women are from Venus. And his thinking is pretty darn advanced. I really like the way he's focusing more on brains and the biochemistry in brains. So that's a good read.
I like that. Hey, Dave, I appreciate you hanging out with us. I'll talk to you later on during the week. I'm excited to see the opening of the store again. Bulletproof Coffee, Bulletproof Executive, everything that's Dave Asprey is right there at the Bulletproof Executive area. Dave, thanks a lot for hanging out with us.
Thanks a lot, Ken.
Thanks, buddy. Hey, I got to tell you, all these great things we're talking about, you can find over at the Business Rockstars website. Also, sign up for our webinar with Nolan Bushnell. LegalZoom is sponsoring it. And again, LegalZoom, they've been such a great partner. They're giving us great deals for you. Just go to businessrockstars.com, click on the webinar, or go to LegalZoom and use Rockstars, your code, and get some great discounts. They're not a law firm, but they offer great services from all the top law entities that are out there. All right, that's enough from us. Charlie, Rolo, and Nick for producing a great show. Bridget and Brittany for just making things happen. What a fun show. We'll be back with you later. Ken Rakowski, you've been listening to Business Rockstars.
This program is designed to provide accurate and authoritative information with regard to the subject matter covered. This information is given with the understanding that neither the host nor the station is engaged in rendering legal, accounting, business, or other professional advice. Since the details of your situation are unique, you should additionally seek the advice and services of a competent professional.